Homemade biscuits are a staple in many of our southern homes. You may be familiar with the age-old method of making them by hand in a flour bowl. While that is the traditional way to make biscuits, I recognize that not everyone keeps a flour bowl tucked away in a flour sack, and most homes aren't making biscuits every day like our grandmothers did. For that reason, instead of showing you the timeless flour bowl method, I wanted to show you two methods with measurements that still give you a delicious, fluffy southern biscuit. Using a food processor is a quick way to cut the fat into the flour. For both recipes, I'll be using 6 tablespoons of butter because I know not everyone has access to good lard, but you can use equal amounts of lard for this too. When making biscuits, it's important for the butter and the buttermilk to remain very cold. I like to cube my butter just like this, and then I put it back in the refrigerator to chill while I prepare the rest of the ingredients. For both recipes, I am using 1 cup of buttermilk and 2 cups of self-rising flour. If you do not have access to self-rising flour, just use 2 cups of all-purpose flour and 1 tablespoon of baking powder. Sifting is optional, but I like to sift my measured flour just to remove any clumps that might be there. Add the flour to the food processor along with the cold butter. Pulse just a few quick times until tiny bits of butter are incorporated into the flour. Pour the buttermilk into the food processor and pulse just a few times until the dough comes together, being sure not to pulse too much or you will overwork the dough. People often say not to overwork your biscuit dough because it makes the biscuits tough. However, there is such a thing as underworking the dough, and that's what can cause biscuits to be crumbly and fall apart. Honestly, it just takes practice to get it right. Flour the top of your dough well and then gently press it out into a circle. To create layers in your biscuits, gently fold the dough into itself just like this. Press out the dough to just over a 1-inch thickness, then use a round cutter to cut out your biscuits. I'm using a 3-inch cutter, but you can use whatever size you like. Fold the extra dough together and press it out again to cut the last few biscuits. Use your hands to shape the last bit of dough into a round. Place biscuits in the oven and cook until they are golden brown. Remove the biscuits from the oven and top with melted butter. Using a pastry cutter is another way to cut the butter into the flour. If you do not have a sifter like the one I was using before, you can still sift your flour by using a strainer like this. Just like the food processor method, add the cold butter to the flour. Use the pastry cutter to cut the butter into the flour until it looks like coarse crumbs. Use your hand to make a hole in the flour mixture. Then slowly pour the buttermilk into the hole. Gently fold the flour into the buttermilk a little bit at a time until it just comes together. Place the dough on a floured surface and press it out just like we did for the food processor method. If you do not have a round cutter, you can use a knife to cut out your biscuits and then shape them into rounds with your hands. It's a bit more difficult to get the round shape using your hands, but it works. Just try not to overwork the dough. With this batch of biscuits, I'm going to show you how to partially cook them and freeze them for later. To prepare biscuits for freezing, cook them until they rise but have not yet browned. After the biscuits have cooled a bit, place them on a parchment-lined baking sheet and then into the freezer for 1 hour. Place the frozen biscuits into a bag that will go back into the freezer. When ready to bake, simply remove as many biscuits as you like and then bake them until they are golden brown. Homemade biscuits are the ultimate comfort food. I hope you have found these recipes to be helpful. If you try it out, let me know. I would love to hear from you.